Inaugurations are history-making events showcasing the peaceful transfer of American power and giving presidents a chance to make a speech for the ages. Joining us now to provide some context and thoughts about this upcoming inauguration is Dr. Dante Scala of the University of New Hampshire. Thanks for joining us, Dr. Scala.
You're welcome.
These inauguration addresses, you often hear they come away with a signature line. We have, "Ask not what your country can do for you," from John F. Kennedy, "The 1,000 points of light" of George H.W. Bush. Does Donald Trump, do you think he goes and tries to create a speech like that, or are we going to see him continue in his sort of non-traditional path?
What I hope we get is a speech that shows Donald Trump recognizing that some things are bigger than himself. And one of those things is the office of the presidency. And so a sense of history and his place in it. I mean, at his convention last summer, we heard a lot about I, like I will do this and I will do that. I'm curious, hopeful that we'll hear more about we and a recognition that Trump needs to work with others, including the Republican Congress, in order to get things done.
Some Democrats, most notably Congressman John Lewis, have already said that they plan to not attend the inauguration. Do we have any precedent or context for this, or a blueprint for something like this that's gone on before?
Yeah, it's a dangerous thing. We've had 3 presidents now. President Bush because of the Florida controversy, President Obama because of the controversy about his birth certificate, which the president-elect pushed forward, and now Donald Trump himself. Questions about the legitimacy of the president being raised. It's a dangerous thing for a democracy to have, and I think that's why you're seeing Democrats, even though they don't like what Trump had to say about Congressman Lewis, a civil rights hero, they're concerned about raising that question of legitimacy, because once a democracy goes down that path, it's hard to come back.
You're one of the preeminent political scientists here in New Hampshire. I know you don't have a crystal ball, but what do you think is going to happen here as Donald Trump assumes the presidency?
Yeah, so my crystal ball is still in. I'm still waiting for the new one after 2016, because Donald Trump certainly upended a lot of my thoughts and predictions. But I think what we'll see in the first month of President Trump is a lot at once. What we do know is that President Trump is really good at making news. So I think he's going to keep you all very busy. The question is what's going on behind the scenes, and how well is Trump, a businessman, going to be, and is he really going to care about being someone who's good at actually running the government? So there's going to be a lot of shiny objects to look at. The question is what's going on behind the scenes in actually running the government.
And quickly, do you think we're going to see any Democrats jumping into first in the nation, New Hampshire here, earlier than usual, looking all the way ahead to that 2020 race?
I think they won't show up in person, I think, until 2018. But we'll see staffers going forward. What I wonder is if Trump does not do well, whether we'll see Republicans in 2018.
Could be another 2-party primary.
Absolutely.
All right. Dr. Scala, thanks so much for your time and your insight.
You're welcome, sir.
All right. And the road to the White House started in New Hampshire with our First in the Nation primary, and News 9 will be in Washington for the transition of power. Josh McKelvin will head to the nation's capital next week to bring us live coverage as we count down to Inauguration Day. And of course, you can turn to WMUR and ABC News next Friday for live coverage of the inaugural events.